Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Jennifer Meckles. Some relief for fire crews in Colorado today. We finally cooled down just a little bit after those high temps we saw all last week. And that is helping out crews on the western slope. They are very busy battling several wildfires tonight. Rio Blanco County is feeling the brunt of those fires. The sheriff's office says the recently sparked Yellow Jacket fire is 29 acres and 40% contained. That one's burning northeast of Meeker on the White River National Forest land. U.S. Forest Service says resources from the nearby Lee fire are being used to fight this one. Speaking of the Lee fire, crews are making some progress on containing that one. Officials say it is now 31% contained, pretty good compared to yesterday. The fire has burned nearly 134,000 acres in size. That's about 209 square miles. This fire is currently the 5th largest in Colorado history. And the nearby Elk fire is also nearing full containment. Officials say it's 93% contained now. This fire has burned more than 14,000 acres, and there are now more than 1,200 personnel assigned to battle both the Lee and the Elk fires. Crews in the metro also face some high fire danger today. Aurora firefighters had to deal with a brush fire this afternoon. This one broke out on East 26th and North Monaghan Road just before 2:30. Aurora Fire says it burned about 3 acres. Crews spent the rest of the afternoon just mopping up the hot spots. The cause of this fire is still under investigation. Rappenhagen, because I know the conditions haven't been helping fires, but we did get a slight cool down today and some storms.
Yeah, today was a great day out there, especially on those big fire zones. We had no fire activity. We even saw some rain in the Lee fire, and they actually caused a flash flood warning because of the water coming down in the burn scar. So from super dry to too much water, just like that. Here's Sunday's forecast here in Denver. So we'll burn the heat back up into the 90s, low 90s, 93. Despite quite a bit of cloud cover starting at about noon, we should be able to make it up to about 93, 95 in Greeley, 92 in Fort Collins. It'll be a very dry day out on the western slope, although humidity will still be up there. Winds not too bad, so we're not expecting any fire weather warnings. 88 down there in Durango for tomorrow. Here's the next few days here in Denver as the heat just gradually rises 1 degree per day on those high temperatures, getting into the middle 90s before we touch the upper 90s. For a couple of days, I'll have more on a very dry and very hot forecast coming up, Jenny.
All right, Corey, thank you. Today also marks 5 years since the Cameron Peak fire started in Larimer County. That would ultimately become the largest wildfire in Colorado history. That fire burned more than 200,000 acres of national forest land and in Rocky Mountain National Park. And at its peak, it forced more than 6,000 people to evacuate their homes. And the fire still got to some of those homes, burning 184 of them. Larimer County guesses the property losses total more than $6 million. 9 News reporter Rhea Jha takes us up to Larimer County, where today people came together to remember and reflect.
Today, firefighters, state officials, and community members gathered here in the Poudre Canyon at a local fire station to remember the fire that tore through these mountains. While they're reflecting on what happened 5 years ago, it's impossible to ignore what's happening on the western slope. These large wildfires. It's just a stark reminder to them that the threat of wildfires is far from over.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome.
The burn scars on the mountains in Poudre Canyon are still visible 5 years later.
2020, I wouldn't recommend it.
In this crowd, nearly everyone has their own story of the Cameron Peak fire.
There's no great reward for having the largest fire.
That includes Boots Jaffe.
It was like 6 months of fighting the fire, even in the snow. There's nothing like seeing flames coming out of snow.
In 2020, the fire burned from August to December.
It was readily apparent that 2020 would present unforeseen and unique challenges.
For Boots, some images are still burned in his memory.
The sky was always orange and smoky, and at night the moon was bright red.
People here know prevention isn't optional, especially with the massive wildfires now burning on the western slope.
Those fires, if they're not contained, use an enormous amount of manpower, and should a fire start on this side of the Rockies, then we're going to be short-handed.
In the canyon, Boots and his neighbors are always thinking about fire danger.
It's part of my job, and it's part of where I live. One match in tall grass alongside the road, or a cigarette butt alongside the road, and it could be disastrous.
Knowing the Cameron Peak fire may not hold its record for much longer.
The largest fire in Colorado history for now.
In Poudre Canyon,
There's going to be more fires.
Rhea Jha, 9 News.
A man is in police custody tonight after he stabbed another man inside the University of Denver library today. Police say this happened on the first floor of the Anderson Academic Commons just before 1:30. They tell us 2 men, who neither, by the way, were DU students, they entered the building to escape the heat and then got into some kind of fight. One pulled a knife, hurting the other in the hand and in the shoulder. Officers arrested the man on aggravated assault charges. Police say these 2 men knew each other somehow. They have gang ties. DU closed the library for the rest of the day, and they will reopen it tomorrow on schedule. The city of Denver now says they have blocked a local police department from accessing the data from Denver's flock license plate reading cameras. Denver police blocked federal agents from accessing their flock data months ago. Now the city has blocked Lovelin police from accessing their data. This comes one day after 9 News reported Lovelin police are sharing access to its flock data with U.S. Border Control. Lovelin police declined to comment for that report. City of Denver spent millions of dollars, $9 million, on a hotel that it promised to turn into homeless housing. But more than 2 years later, not a single person has lived there. And now the city wants to sell that same property for $10. The former Stay Inn off 38th Avenue was supposed to open last year with about 100 units of supportive housing. But officials say federal funding fell through. Like the housing vouchers under the Trump administration, officials also say the former hotel needs nearly $5 million in renovations. So if city council signs off, a new developer could take over and finish the project. They'll also need to pick up the property tax bill the city has not paid since buying it. There is an affordable housing complex off Colfax that was damaged by fire earlier this year. It's now going to be redeveloped, according to our partners at the Denver Business Journal. It's a 3-story Liberty House apartments. They were already empty when a fire started there in January. Investigators later called that case an arson case. The property helped people with disabilities find affordable housing. Now, the owners of that organization say that the fire actually helped speed up their redevelopment plans. They plan to sell to another company to build a new complex with more than 70 affordable units. Those apartments will be reserved for people making between 30% and 60% of the median income. A plan to slash federal housing assistance could leave thousands of Colorado families without a place to live, and experts say it really impacts more than just renters. The Trump administration is reportedly proposing cutting the Section 8 program by 43%. This program, of course, helps low-income families pay rent in the private market. Andy Proctor runs the FHL Bank Topeka Affordable Housing Institute at MSU Denver and says that if Congress were to approve this cut, 33,000 Coloradans depending on Section 8 could feel the impact. Economists stress the burden doesn't just disappear, it just shifts, eventually ripping through the state economy.
Section 8 is not only a subsidy for individual families, it's also a subsidy for landlords. So a landlord receives that Section 8 assistance. It isn't dollars into the hands of a family or a Section 8 voucher holder. It's actually dollars in the hand of a landlord.
This is happening as Denver is heading toward another breaking of records year for eviction filings. According to data from Denver County Court, more than 9,000 cases were filed through July, which is 300 more than the same time frame last year.